What's up everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Demon's Souls. Off camera I went and got the Blessed Mace +1 out of 5-1, the first level of the Valley of Defilement. I might throw that footage up in the bonus episode. I'm not sure how that recording turned out. For now though, I'm itching to get on with 5-2. This is the last world, guys, coming up on the end of the last world. The end is in sight and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But before we get to that, we have to get through the darkness of the poisoned swamp. And the reason people hate it is because inside this poisoned swamp, you cannot roll. Now, the reason I'm using the Adjudicator shield here, and the reason I went out of my way to go back through 5-1 to get the Blessed Mace +1, is for the health regeneration. So if you equip the Adjudicator shield, the Blessed Mace +1, and the Regenerator's ring, which remember we got one of those from, I believe, the first level of the Shrine of Storms, and there's also been other ones available to us throughout the game. If you equip those 3 health regen items, then you can completely negate the effects of the poison, and you will not lose any health going through the swamp. If you only have 2 out of those 3 items, you'll lose a negligible amount of health compared to what you regain. It'll be slight, but you'll be at a deficit for health loss. But with all 3 of those items, you're perfectly fine to proceed through the swamp. You won't need to cure the poison. You won't need to have poison resistance and avoid it. You can just pretty much regenerate straight through it. I am not going to put the Blessed Mace on until I have to. The nice thing about the black armor is also the Gloom set, I should mention. The Gloom set is very high poison and plague resistance. These armor sets are very convenient for this level because they will increase the amount of time you can spend running around in the muck before you are afflicted with the poison status. And we're going to be spending a lot of time digging through this disgusting mess of a swamp. And finally just got poisoned. But since I'm switching to the Blessed Mace now, which, remember, the Blessed prefix on top of scaling with your faith also gives you a little bit of passive health regeneration. And that's on top of the Adjudicator shield. The reason I ordinarily wouldn't use the Adjudicator shield is because I think it's A, heavier than the Purple Flame shield. It has, I believe, lower guard break reduction, and it also only blocks 90% of incoming physical damage as opposed to the 100% of most other shields. And what it lacks in those areas, it makes up for in having a little bit of health regen, which is more than worthwhile going through this swamp, especially since we're not going to be engaging a whole lot of enemies here. There are a couple fights that are more or less mandatory, but you can skip oh god, that dangerous phantom over there. That is one of the most dangerous black phantoms in the whole game, not because of the fact that it's very powerful. It does a lot of damage. It has a meat cleaver equipped, and it can do a whole lot of damage at once. No, what makes it so dangerous is the fact that you can't deal with it the way you might ordinarily deal with an enemy like that, by rolling, by avoiding incoming attacks. So I would rather just not fight that phantom. Fortunately, with the Thief's Ring, it becomes pretty hard for that phantom to notice you. The Thief's Ring is a godsend, especially in this level. Also, Pure Sucker Stone, if you're wondering where you can get one of those to complete your pure upgrade path to a pure whatever +5. Oop, come on. Just want to get past the phantom. I already picked up the broken sword hilt. Actually, you know what? I'm going to try to engage the phantom and Hopefully it goes well enough, because I'm noticing there's a few little solid masses of land that I can try to use against her. Let's see how well that goes, though. Gonna have to keep the Blessed Mace equipped, otherwise I'm gonna start taking damage from poison. Oh god, these land masses are smaller than I thought. And right at the edge, right at the shallowest part, you're still technically in the swamp, so... Ooh, this might have been a bad choice. This might have been a really, really bad choice. Oh, right, and the other thing about the Meat Cleaver Phantom is the swamp does not prevent her from rolling. You don't have that option. In the swamp, at least, she does. Yeah, this fight is going nowhere. Plus, she's doing damage through the Adjudicator shield slowly but surely. Oh, God. Yeah, and the Meat Cleaver will knock you down because it's a heavy two-handed weapon. And I'm really not finding much time to catch my breath and heal, to counterattack, to do much. And, oh, shit. This may have been a bad decision. This may have been a really bad one. I'm trying to get into a position where I can just break lock on and run the fuck away. The Phantom can maneuver through this swamp, though, so... I don't know. I'm happy to burn through grass to keep myself alive until I figure something out, but... Oh, and that is how much damage I do to her. Yeah, peace out. It's been fun. Getting the hell out of here. Okay. Now that that has gone extremely poorly for me, why don't I just take the mace back out, get my regen on, and, oh, shit! Ooh! No! Ooh. She's not letting up. She's not letting up. Come on. Oh, God, run. Fucking run so fast. Okay. She fucked off somewhere. I don't know where she is. Oh, that's a really bad feeling. It's... In one sense, it's fine, because if I can't see her, she is far enough away that she's no longer locked onto me and chasing me, but at the same time, not knowing where she is frightening. She is a very wide patrol path through the swamp. It's through a specific area of it, but it's still not something that I want to be caught off guard with. These jellyfish enemies are mostly pretty harmless. You can avoid all of them. When you get into close proximity to the jellyfish, they will shoot out barbs all around them in like a 360-degree arc. The range is not tremendous, and it takes a while for that to activate, so you can usually get straight past without ever getting grazed. The small depraved ones are not too big of a deal to fight in the swamp where you can't roll. And even with the Adjudicator shield on, if I block a hit, I'm not going to take too much damage through the shield. What's coming up, though, can be quite dangerous. There's a big island right up ahead that we have to get beyond in order to progress. And that island is inhabited by the two giant depraved ones. I'm circumnavigating that little island to get to this item over here, which I think it's another sucker stone. Oh, right, I was actually going to talk about the broken sword hill that I found near the Meat Cleaver Phantom's patrol path. And the broken sword isn't helpful except for one thing that it does. You combine it with Astraya's soul to make the Blueblood sword, or the BBS. I don't remember, but when I was laying out my plans early on in the series, I might have mentioned how I initially wanted to play through with a Blueblood sword build. And I'm actually, before I go on with that, I'm going to go ahead and engage the giant depraved one up here. You can just scoot by, as you see, especially with Thief's Ring, it makes it really easy. I want to just mess with him while I explain about the Blueblood sword. Hopefully this goes well. Anyway, I didn't end up doing the Blueblood sword build because I wanted to save Valley of Defilement for the last world. So obviously I couldn't get Astraea's soul until the bitter end, so that plan kind of went out the window. And fucking hell, this was a questionable engagement. Ooh, this is gonna get me killed. I have no doubt. I'm pinned against this cart. I can't roll because I'm technically at the shallow end of the swamp. Ooh, this is not going well. Thank God he knocked me back. Okay. I think I have a reasonable chance of, like, repositioning myself and winning this fight now. God, that could have gone way, way worse. So anyway, the Blueblood sword, if I haven't already explained it, is the one weapon in the game that scales with your luck stat. And it is very, very strong. It scales with, I think, strength, I think a D rating on strength, E with luck, and another E with another stat. Or might be another D. Probably Dex or Magic. It does physical and magic damage, half and half, just like the Dragon Longsword does half physical and half fire. It can be enchanted, which just makes it even more powerful. It's really fast. It's got decent reach. It does multiple damage types. It's really powerful. The only downside is you can't upgrade it with, even with Primeval Demon Souls. I'm just gonna walk around the swamp a little bit more and make sure I didn't miss anything. Pretty sure there's still a bunch of stuff on the outskirts of the swamp if you follow the perimeter that these makeshift plank walls comprise. Ooh, I see texture glitches. Don't really remember what's up on this island. Oh, it's just more souls. It's always like, it's kind of a weird reaction. It's like, oh, more stuff to make me powerful. Meh. Don't care. Do not want. Mostly just want to be done with exploring the swamp, though. Because I want to get back on my main mission here. And the little headbanging animation is what it looks like when you try to roll in the swamp. His feet are just kind of anchored to the muck. Oh, there is something I missed. What is that? Actually don't remember too many of the items, so I'm trying to be extra thorough about exploring. I think I have everything that I can possibly get, unless that is an item in the distance contradicting what I just said. There is a big wall that divides the two halves of this swamp. And that's why back in the island with the giant depraved ones, you had to cross the plank bridge to get to the fog gate, otherwise you can't pass that wall. Come on, it's so close. I can taste it. I'm gonna guess Sucker Stone. So another Regenerator's Ring. I forgot there was one in this level. Oh, and I see more shiny things in the distance. I think that one is actually past the wall, though. We'll see that. We'll see. Oh, you know what? I'm 1-1 with the Sucker Stone guess. Guesses, I think I'm gonna guess Sucker Stone again. Always bet on black. Oh, right. I got poisoned again. And it wasn't a Sucker Stone either. So just by avoiding enemies and having some health regen equipment, you can really circumvent most of the issues that people have with this level. The other big problem people seem to have with the 5-2 swamp is that they have a really hard time navigating it. The trick to navigating this swamp is to always look at the big burning torches that hover above the murky swamp. And if you follow the glow of the torches, you can actually orient yourself in the swamp here, even despite how dark it is. And with some orientation and some direction, it becomes actually not a big deal to navigate this swamp. The square shape, the torch is arranged in the distance in kind of a square shape where the fire makes up the corners. That is your ultimate goal. That's your destination. But in order to get to it, because it resides in the second half of the swamp, you pretty much run straight forward to the giant depraved island in the first half of the swamp once you drop down below. And it's way less difficult to navigate than most people think. It's just you have to be paying attention to the torches, and most people, I think, probably if their camera's angled downwards or they're not picking up on the visual cue. I don't know if that's an issue with the design of the level or not, or if it's just an issue with the players, but that is the trick for easily navigating this part of the swamp. And then once you get to the second half, it's more or less a linear path. If you drop down into the swamp, you have to find the ramp that leads back onto the plank bridge. On the plank bridge, though, there's not really that many directions you can go, so it's hard to get lost there. But again, in the swamp part of the second half of this level, it's just as open as this part. Actually, I think the Latria swamp, the Blood swamp, is a little bit worse to navigate. Because it's smaller, it's more compact, and you don't ever have to drop into the swamp. Well, you have to go like a few steps into the swamp, but there's the ramp right at the beginning. But if you wander off from the plank bridge, it can be a pain in the ass to find the ramp back up, as I demonstrated. Ooh, got some messed up textures. Or some... I'm not sure if that's the lighting bugging out or what. But we've done some pretty thorough exploration of this level, or of this half of the level. So why don't we go ahead and go up here. We can continue on with the level. If you drop down around this area and go to the right in Pure White World Tendency, that's where Salen Vinland is usually camping out. Not going to be dropping down just yet. I want to kill me some mosquitoes. These mosquitoes are not nearly as irritating as the ones in Dark Souls in Blighttown, because these mosquitoes do not infinitely respawn and chase you down and bug the shit out of you constantly. They still have some pretty annoying tendencies, but they go down quickly. They don't do horrible damage. It's just they fly, so it can be a little difficult to reach them sometimes. Especially if you're pure melee and you don't bring a lot of range to the table. You can be a bit like man-eaters when man-eaters just fly and fly out of range all day long. Like goddamn trolls. Ooh, you get hit by the blood spatter from behind though. It can be a little dicey. Still not too bad though. I mean, you could see one or two of those behind you and fighting several depraved ones at once. It's not that bad of a situation. Oh, he fell below. I didn't see a soul counter pop up, so... he's still alive down there. I don't really want to get ambushed by a guy with a torch. So slow and steady. I believe I caught him out of the corner of my eye behind me. Could also get lots of black turpentine down here. And the game is trying to tell you that if you didn't already pick up from Leechmonger, my controller's fucking going crazy. If you didn't already pick up on Leechmonger's enormous weakness to fire, everything in the Valley of Defilement is very, very vulnerable to fire damage. So black turpentine, if you don't already have a fire enchanted weapon, use black turpentine here. It's really, really good. But then again, Dragon Longsword already one-shots almost everything here, except the giant brave ones. And then you can just avoid those. For the Dirty Colossus fight, though, black turpentine, it's the way to go. Anyway, now that we're making our way through the second half of the level, I guess I'm going to cut the episode here. And in the next episode, we will finish out the little bit that remains of the swamp. We'll fight the Dirty Colossus. And then we will do 5-3, which is just a boss fight against Garl Vinland and Maiden Astraea. And since that's probably not going to take much time, I guess I will just finish the final boss in the next episode too. So yeah, the next episode will be the finale of Demon Souls. So, thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy. Have a good one.